Hello everyone, this is Razorflamekun, and this is going to be the beginning of my Let's Play of Towns. It's not going to really be a Let's Play, it's going to be more of explanation of the game. Anyways, I made a new map and we're going to be starting it. So, it's just going to generate the seed and everything, and we're going to go into the game, and we're going to, I'm going to explain the game as we get to it, eventually. But right now I just want to check and make sure that nothing was generated that I didn't want to get generated, and I do not see any of the mobs that I wanted to have spawn, so yay! So this is how you normally begin with 11 civilians who are all stacked up right here. And let me just go and reduce the playing speed. What you want to do is, when you first start, you want to reduce the playing speed down to 1, since you're just beginning, and that's the way that you want to have it begin. Now, I also suggest you look around the map and note where all of the wild wheat are and where all the animals are, as well as where a good flat open space is, sort of towards the center of the map. You want to start your town in the center of the map, and actually they started out in a really nice spot. You also want to note where all of these trees are as well. Another thing you want to look for are stone, as well as any ores that are on the surface. Ores that are on the surface can include copper and a couple of other nice ores as well, although doesn't look like any are on this map that I just generated, which is a bummer. I was kind of hoping that they would have... Oh, wait, there's some coal. Okay, coal. So there's just a little bit there on that I found on this particular map. Your particular map is going to look completely different, but the general idea is the same. You want to start your settlement in the middle of town, or in the middle of the map. So what you want to have them do first is you want to locate where there's a large chunk of wood, and then you want to have them chop down the wood. So to do so, you just click on chop here, you click somewhere on the map like here, and then you click here on the map again, and you'll notice that there are blue squares underneath the trees. This means that your civilians are going to go and will start to chop down these trees, as you can see right here. Now, right before you do that, though, you want to set up a stockpile. Click down here on stockpiles and click on raw materials, and then you want to build a stockpile somewhere right here. And you can make it any size you want, but I'd just recommend you make it about that size, just for the beginning of the game. You're not gonna keep this stockpile for long. The reason why you want to make stockpiles is because after all of your civilians make the wood, chop the trees down, they're gonna get wood, and then they're gonna bring the wood over here to the stockpile, and will start stocking the stockpile. See, you can see them; they're hauling it right now. If you right-click on a tile that they're on, which can be tricky, you'll see that their task is haul. Another thing that you want to do is, whenever you're issuing orders to your civilians, you want to press the space bar to pause the game, so that you can do more tasks like that. Anyways, we're going to now bring those over to the stockpile, and I'm going to pause the game, because the next thing you want to do is you want to go to zones, and you want to click on carpentry. Then you want to then you want to click anywhere on the map, then drag it up or down to make a 3x3 square, and then click again. But when I say click, I mean left click, and you have made a carpentry. Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to click on utilities here, and you want to click on carpenter's bench, and click it anywhere in the carpentry zone you just made. This is a very important thing that you need to have them do. You need to have the carpentry bench so that you can start making, so yeah, you can make the wood detailer, and then after you get the wood detailer, it's a good idea to make the mason's bench, although you don't need to. And it's actually a better idea to make the baker's table first. Now they're going to go ahead and stockpile the wood, and if you this is what the regular priority list is. The priority list shows you what tasks the civilians will prioritize over others. For example, they'll prioritize baking and cooking as they'll do that first if it's available. Then they'll do gathering and harvesting, which involves trees and the wild wheat, mining and digging, which we'll get into later, tilling and chopping, which includes chopping trees and tilling the land, item construction, which includes the carpenter's bench, wall construction, which we'll get into later, butchering, which we'll get into later, and hauling, which is what they're doing right now. Sorry about the immense amount of lag that you're seeing. It just seems that the game really doesn't want to run that much. While they're doing this and making the carpenter's bench, it's also a good idea to set up a large farm area. Not large, but a decent farm area. Somewhere towards the middle of towards the edge of your map, and you want to do this. I recommend you start doing this now, because then you'll have the land all tilled, and you'll be able to start making. You'll start being able to harvest the wild wheat and having them make it into. Having them plant it in your tilled land. And there's a carpenter's bench. And as soon as that is placed, I'm going to need to mine some stone. No, not mine a ladder. Mine. Click on the mine button, then click on stone that you can see that is protruding up. I'm going to pause it so that you can see there are different levels. If you use the mouse wheel to scroll up and down, you can see that there are different levels of the map. In a normal map, you can go up 12 levels and down to -20. However, we are not going to get into going down yet, because we first have a lot of other things that we need to do. Such as building a wood detailer. I'm gonna set the wood detailer, which requires 1 stone, and that's why you need to mine the stone. Though your civilians, I believe the civilians right now are prioritizing. Actually, they should prioritize mining over tilling. So I don't know why all of these guys are still tilling the land. They should be mining the stone, but whatever. Up there we go. These 2 guys are gonna go mine the 2 stone that I had them go and mine. And what? I could have sworn that stone always gave stuff for you to get. Anyways, since that didn't really produce enough stone that we're gonna need later, it's a good idea to just send them out and mine a decent amount of stone, because stone is used for making is used in masonry, which is used to make stone walls and everything, which we'll get into fairly soon. Just working on tilling the land right now. I'm not. Oh, another thing I can have them do is containers. Containers are. I use containers in place of stockpiles. So I'm actually going to destroy the stockpile now, because we don't need the stockpile any longer. Stockpiles are just used to bring raw materials over, and containers are the same deal. They actually can. You can actually make up the containers. You can make an infinite number of them. They only take one spot, and they can hold 10 materials. And what? I have a accessible carpenter's bench. What? What the heck? I have an accessible carpenter's bench, so I don't know. Actually, I usually like building these inside of. I usually like building in the gameplay video I showed that I had some raw material benches or raw material barrels inside of my carpentry. So I'm gonna actually make one inside of the carpentry. And these shouldn't get deleted like the last ones did, because I have an accessible carpenter's bench, thank you very much. And an oh, okay, never mind. Can't build those yet. That's why. Okay, so you can't build containers yet because you need a wood detailer, which they are still lacking on making, so I'm gonna raise its priority up. That whenever you have something that is really important to get built, such as the wood detailer, then you want to raise the priority of that item up so that they'll start building it sooner. And you want them to start building it sooner. And while they're going out, another thing you want to set up pretty quickly is the bakery. You don't have to set the bakery up now, and in fact, I'm actually not going to set up the bakery yet, because there's a few things that you need to do first. But before that, I'm just going to. He's probably on the wood detailer. Yep, he's making the wood detailer, so he's gonna bring that wood down to the carpenter's bench, and then he's gonna go and get stone and bring that to the carpenter's bench, and that's gonna make the wood detailer. And in the meantime, the other 10 of my workers, townies, civilians, are gonna be tilling the rest of these, and these guys are actually all going to be on break now. And one thing, now what you can do is we can start planting these with wheat. That's what we want to do. So I'm going to plant I'm going to plant 3 of these with wheat right now, and then you want to have them harvest wild wheat. Because once you have them order them to plant them, they need to harvest something in order to make it into the seedling that you plant that'll eventually grow into more wheat. So you need to find wild wheat to harvest, and if you just started the map, wild wheat should be fairly plentiful. So you just need to go around the map, find all the wild wheat, and harvest. Just select right-click on it and select harvest, and you'll be able to. That'll send the townies to harvest the meat. One thing you want to watch out for is water. water is instant death to townies. Most of the time they'll avoid it altogether, but sometimes they're stupid and they go straight for it. And I don't know why they do that, but that's just something you need to watch out for. So now that I put all of those guys to harvesting, they'll actually all harvest, and actually where is the guy that's making the wood detailer? Did he even finish? Oh, yep, he's good. You're still building it. You want to make sure that you get the wood detailer finished very quickly, because that opens up a lot of building things you can do, such as making, actually you don't even need, you can make wood walls without it, but that'll allow you to, wood detailer will allow you to make a whole bunch of other good stuff, like no, wrong thing, like these containers. And what, are you still making it? Yes, you're still making it. And and the wooden set of armor, which I actually do, you should get right after this guy finishes the wood detailer. Come on, finish it. Thank you. You finished the wood detailer. Yay. So now that the wood detailer is finished, we can now go ahead and build all of the containers that we need to build. But I'm actually not going to do that right now. Well, something that we need to focus on next is we need to get food up and going, because food is going to be very important. So to get food up and going, we're going to need a bakery, and the bakery, I would recommend placing it somewhere close by where you plant all of your weeds. So I'm going to place my bakery up here, and make sure you leave enough room for walls around it as well. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, a 4x4 area, and then we're going to go into utilities, and we're going to click on baker's table. And another thing you have to do immediately after that is, in addition to making the bakery at this time, you also have to make the masonry at the same time. And I actually would recommend making the masonry pretty close by your carpentry, and you can actually connect the buildings like this and build walls all around here and make a door here. But we'll get into that later. One thing that we need to do right now is we need to go ahead and go back into utilities and click on Mason's Bench, which requires the wood detailer, and that's why I needed to get the wood detailer done as soon as possible. So now that we have all of this going on, what's he doing? I think he might be, oh, he's doing the baker's table. Yay! So he's going to be building the baker's table, and then these guys, what are you doing? As I said, you can right click on the tile they're on, and you can see what they're building. What they're doing. He's doing the baker's table, and she's doing the mason's bench. What are you doing? Absolutely, oh, they're idling. Cool. Well, you don't want to work your townies to, if you keep on giving them orders over and over, and don't give them any idle time, they'll eventually start not being very happy, and stuff like that and then you won't be able to get more immigrants and stuff like that. So it's something you really want to avoid. Now that they've actually built all, gotten all of these into wood, harvested all the wild wheat and made it into wheat seedlings, these will continually grow, and you can continually harvest them without fear of them going away, without them dying out. That's what I wanted to say. And I can actually get these guys working, and I'm gonna get them working on some containers raw material containers. I'm going to build 6 of them right up here. They cost 3 wood each, so you want to make sure you have a decent amount of wood saved up. And if you don't, you can just go and order a bunch of townies down here to go and cut a bunch of wood. You do not. One thing you want to make sure you do is do not chop every tree in sight, because you need trees that are still alive in order to create pine tree bushes, which are used for making, they eventually over time grow into more trees. So you want to make sure you just want to make sure you don't do that. Also, when you get this, come back. There we go. When you get the ZZZ sign underneath a townie, that means that they are sleeping, and they will not do anything while they are sleeping. Anyways, now that we have the mason's bench, we need to get the baker's oven going immediately after that, because these are going to be used for making food, which we'll get into after they build those items and they chop this wood as well. The next thing you want people to them to do, I'm actually not going to build all of them. I'm going to build just that amount right now, is you want them to start harvesting the fruit trees as well. So, and you don't need to worry about these fruit trees dying out, because once the fruit is harvested from them, they will actually grow back. They'll be like kind of, you'll see that after they finish. What are these guys doing? One thing I do need to do is lower item creation back down. These guys are, what are they doing? God, it's also really hard. Okay, so they're building the items. Okay, but these guys are gonna go and these townies are gonna go and harvest the fruit from the trees. And while they're doing that, another thing that you need to do is you either need to make a stockpile for raw food and prepared food, or make a container for raw food and prepared food. I would recommend making a few, just like 2 raw food and a whole bunch of prepared food barrels, so that the townies have places to place the items that you make through baking. So it's just stuff that you get. It's just preparation. That's all we're doing. It's preparing for later on. And got some more townies coming back with more wheat that they harvested, and eventually these wheat will grow into wheat that you can harvest, and you'll eventually need to start making a mill, which is the next thing we need to do, but I'm going to be doing that later. Anyways, I'm going to be right back. Anyways, sorry about that. We are going to have them... We're going to just watch as the townies go and do stuff. I'm going to increase the speed by 1 so that they move a little bit faster. And these apples and pears that they are gathering from the trees are going to be used for making pies later on, which I will show fairly soon. But I actually just realized that I'm going to need to cut more wood, because I'm definitely not going to have enough for all of the barrels that I have, all of the containers that I'm making. And what are you making? Okay, you're making the baker's oven. Baker's oven is one of the things you need to make. Another thing that we need to make right now is a mill, which is used to create flour. Make mills close by where you are making, getting the wheat, harvesting the wheat from. And I would recommend making, at this point in time, you don't really need to make more than one, but I found that having more than one is actually really helpful, especially towards these earlier stages. And they're going to go and make the mills right now. Mills require, sorry, but I didn't show you, but they require 1 wood, 3 stone, and a cow. Sorry about that again. Anyways, what we need to do is, I was explaining, mills require 3 stone, 1 wood, and 1 cow. Once they build it, this is one of the buildings that is for auto construction or auto production. What that means is that it will townies, when they harvest wheat, will automatically go here to automatically produce wheat. Not wheat, flour. And then you can use flour with bakery oven and baker's table to make the pies that I was talking about earlier. But it looks like I'm going to be running out of... One thing you have to keep constant track of is how much of each resource you have, and since I'm going to be running out of stone, I'm going to need to have miners, people start mining more wood, not more wood, more stone, because I'm not going to have enough to have them build it. Whoa, what was that? Oh, that was a cow. Whenever you hear that noise, that means that something's killed, such as a cow or other animal or monster. And now that this is up, it is in automatic mode, which means that whenever wheat is harvested and brought to the mill, it'll make flour, which you then use to make the pies that we talked about earlier. Anyways, over here there are in the jungle there are two other kinds of plants, and there's also water that you have to watch out for in jungles, which kind of makes sense. There are also banana trees, and I'm trying to find one. Oh, there's one right there, and actually it looks like there's one over here as well. So I'm gonna set one person to go and harvest some of those. Looks like she's gonna do it. Hopefully she won't get killed by water doing it. Nope. She's gonna go gather some bananas from the tree. And I think we have... that's a jungle tree bush. There's a banana bush. You could actually make... with certain types of bushes, you could actually make trees. Like the banana tree, the fruit trees, you can plant them and make trees that you can continually harvest without any problem. They'll stay harvestable forever, and you need these bushes in order to make them. So just watch out for that, and we're going to be doing that not quite yet because we still have quite a bit of stuff that we need to do in order to get our settlement ready. I do need to find... oh, whoopsies. Don't need you to gather any flowers. That's not important right now. The wheat is, though. And I needed to go and find 3 more wild wheat because that is the number of spaces that we have left to till. And so let me just check. Yep, she just dropped the banana there. So what I am going to need to do is eventually we're going to need to build walls and around our buildings and stuff like that, but that's going to be for next episode. So until next time, this has been Razorflamekun, and may all of your days shine brightly.